Hello and welcome everyone. This is Ragnarok here with episode number, I'm not sure, 33, maybe 34 of the Tyrion Endgame High Elves campaign on Legendary difficulty. We're just basically mopping things up a little bit here, working towards peace with the dwarves and a lasting alliance, and just trying to hunt down chaos. Defeated Sigvald and the army that was shadowing him. The one army is completely destroyed, but we've still got Sigvald to deal with as well. And I'm not sure where the rest of the Chaos forces are, to be perfectly honest with you. But I'm sure we'll catch up to them at some point here in the campaign. Bloody hell, I don't even know what's don't really need any of these points, but what can you do? Definitely want to do some building in this episode as well. Income has improved a little bit. Got that there. What else is available? Okay, I guess we'll go with that. And let's get this built up for now. And I guess we'll go with the Elven Gardens. Damn it to hell. No Elven Gardens. Let's go with the shrine here. We probably should replace that for the gardens. I'm just gonna leave it for now, just in case we happen to need to recruit here for whatever reason. It's very unlikely that we will need to do that, but whatever. Alright. Start off with growth here. And even though this army is in bad shape, I'm still going to come up here and take this settlement. And we'll probably just sit here for a little while and get the replenishment. It's not under any threat, so we'll let him replenish. Valkyrie can guard here. They're going to be recruiting and gaining strength again, but I'm not too worried about that. Colonize here as well. And finally, we are going to be able to get this Eastern trade contracts. I very excited about that. Let's just move you to there for now. Keep you in the same province. And I think here we're gonna go growth as well. Let's just try and get this province built up as quickly as possible. Alright, what's the plan here? Winter Pyre is eventually going to revolt. Down here, this province. Need to bring you back into here. I don't know if that's going to be enough to stop the rebellion. But hopefully the rebellion shows up here and she can deal with it. You, sir, headed this way.
In search of truth.
Serpent Jetty. Order. Okay, that's because he's there. Our army of agents is just about to make landfall, which is fantastic. Well, this actually might even stave off the rebellion.
You seek illumination? Warden of Sapphire. Lawmaster of Hoth.
Yeah, I'm not sure this is going to be enough to get public order under control here, but definitely worth a try. Yeah, so this one guy got us balanced to 0. So that's good. No rebellion. Guess the experience would have been alright. How much is this to upgrade? Sure, why not? I mean, I really should disband those armies in the south, because we don't really need them.
You must restore order.
Let's upgrade this. Yeah, we really don't need these guys.
Your behest?
It's just gonna hurt the income even more, but
Can I offer assistance?
I really did want to put these armies together, so I'm just gonna leave it for now.
Lord of the Phoenix Court.
What do we got here? Spring of Eternal Life. Can you reach this? What kind of shape are you in? You're not in terrible shape, not in great shape though either. Where the fuck is the settlement? Oh, he's in force march, that's why.
I second this.
Yeah, he can
I
reach
go.
it. Perfect. I'm feeling this is a Skaven hideout though.
Oriah!
Yep. Whoa, motherfucker. This is not good. This is not good at all. Alright,
The Asur follow strength.
I'm gonna withdraw here. What size stack is that army?
Against council orders.
Bloody freaking hell.
Moving out. Not enough warpstone. Your instructions?
Could be in trouble if these guys attack us.
Born to lead.
Guess I should have definitely scouted
There will be carnage.
ahead there. Could try and get out of here with the force march, but I think that's just gonna make it worse. 'Cause these guys
No.
could hit us.
Always.
Uhtred could
A true Asur.
kind of may have stepped in it here, and this guy is way. It's not even close to there. How much of this is due to military presence? 20. I think we need to keep him there to balance the public order for now. We also would like to have him over here. Man, that is gonna be a bitch to deal with.
Against council orders.
Though I mean, we've got Phoenix Guard. I'm just concerned that we're in hard shape and don't really have anything to neutralize those cannons. Is
Loyal to a
Uhtred?
fault.
Okay, he's on a steed. So Uhtred might be able to take them on. I don't have... Get them healed to start the battle. How the hell did they get in such hard shape? Alright, I'm gonna wait for this army. You know what? Never mind. Fuck it.
Marching out.
Let's get you moving over here too. Few turns off, but
How can I assist you?
there are some random Skaven stacks to be dealt with. The public order is not terrible here. We could always turn the taxes off, and we could always recruit a general there temporarily to boost the public order. Alrighty. Don't think there's anything else that we're forgetting. Take a look at the list if there's... Actually, we should double check this. Alright, so we got it balanced there. And Varg Camp can yeah, the garrison will be okay to repel it, and then these guys will be ready next turn, so that'll be fine. We can deal with the rebellion in that way. Over here, let's actually move you to the frozen landing.
Entering the garrison.
I guess you gotta go on force march to get in there.
Ready to march. Garrisoning.
Alright, we
Guardian.
didn't move,
You have my attention.
did not yet move these blokes. We're still trying to...
I await your command. You have my attention.
Trying to find chaos where all their armies are at. Oops. Come down around this way.
Noble
You can
son
come
of
this
Odin.
way.
Forward at once. Valiant. Not possible. Resting for a little while.
Yeah, I don't know where the bloody blazes the chaos armies are. They must be in this this area here. It's just Sigvald as far as I can tell. Just scanning the map.
Princess.
But we'll start moving towards taking them on. Let's do that. Ooh. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, they're not up here in the Chaos Wastes. I guess this is where they spawn, though. I mean, we could always position armies there to hit them right away. Oops. No rights available. I thought that was the rights for a second there. Let's stay put. Yeah, you're gonna stay there for now.
Have use of my power.
Hero not move. What hero? Is hero up here? I don't know.
The Emperor answers to me. My powers are yours to command.
Do we move the guys down in the jungle here? I think I did that at the first of the turn.
You summoned me.
No, maybe not.
Hish guides me.
Keep moving. Where's the other one? There you are.
You seek illumination. Wend
You
my
keep
way.
moving as well.
I cannot bend to madness.
There we go. Looks good. Let's hit the end turn. Finally. Alright, I guess we'll continue with C.L. Warner's The End Times and Deathblade here, or his addition to the End Times trilogy, or the End Times series, with his novel Deathblade. Alright, so we're still in this meeting of the Black Council. Malekith glared at his horrified vassals. "The blood of the Druki belongs to me," he snarled, "and I alone have made you what you are. Mine is the will that has stripped all weakness from your hearts. Mine is the vision that has poured strength into your bodies. All you think, all you dream, all that you are is as I have made it. The Druki are mine, formed from my hate, molded by my spite. From the pathetic tatters of a vanquished realm, I have built a great and terrible people." The Witch King set his hand against the arm of his throne. "To what purpose, then, have I done all this? To sulk in these black halls like a child of Drakari, supping from the poison of bitterness?" Malekith let the question linger in the air. He waited several heartbeats, biding his time before springing whatever surprise he had in store for the Black Council. Malice was certain it could be no more shocking than the decision to keep his armies from the field of battle. In this, Malice soon found himself to be wrong. "The Rana Dandra is coming," the Witch King proclaimed, his voice booming through the hall. "These are the end times. In your heart, each of you knows this to be true. Each of you has felt it in your soul." For just an instant, Malekith stared directly at Malice. The Dracu winced under the scrutiny, wondering if his king knew something more about his soul than he would like. Daemons and Northlanders howl at the gates of their cities. They infest the land as never before. But it is not Naggarond alone that is besieged. Malekith paused again, letting anticipation build among his dreadlords. Uthwan too is beset. Usurpers and faint hearts strive to defend our ancient home against a foe they cannot defeat. If our people, all of our people, are to survive, they must have strong leaders, leaders forged on the anvil of Naggaroth. A babel of voices rose as the dreadlords offered their full support to their king's latest campaign against Uthwan. The nobles of Clare Carond and Carond Car offered their warriors once the invaders were repulsed and their cities restored. The captains of the watchtowers likewise promised to dispatch elements from the garrisons once the present crisis was under control. A grisly chuckle rose from the depths of the Witch King's armor. You misunderstand my intent. The end times are coming. Chaos rises to devour the world. The Northlanders will pillage everything that has not yet been warped by the storm of magic descending upon us. They will squat in our fallen towers to be preyed upon in turn by the daemons loosed by the dark gods they think they serve. Alright, these fools are getting garrisoned, so we'll just withdraw here. And then hopefully not have to fight the combined force, and we should be okay to deal with the army on its own if they do want to attack us, which it doesn't look like they do. Malice watched the Witch King stalk away from his throne. Footprints burned into the carpet as he strode past the assembled dreadlords. Malekith stopped when he stood upon the great sigil of Anarion, set into the floor in lines of gold and malachite. An auroric glow began to rise from the sigil as it reached to the heart of Malekith's tread. Bathed in its light, the despot closed his hand about the hilt of the destroyer hanging from his belt. This blasted wilderness had never been our home. It was a refuge, nothing more. Petty ambitions have allowed this place to become an anchor to the destiny of the Druki. Would you spend the blood on your warriors to protect a land that you despised, a bleak desolation that has within it nothing but scorn and mockery? I tell you all, this will not be. We will not bleed our armies defending this abominable wilderness. If we are to fight, then we will fight a war that is worth fighting. We will fight to take the land that belongs to us. We will fight to claim the land that is our heritage and birthright. Naggaroth, let it burn, let it rot, let it fall to daemons and beasts. It is Uthwan we desire. It is Uthwan that is the destiny of the Druki. Uthwan and the crown of Anarion. Uthwan and the birthright of Malekith. As Rezer was the first to raise his voice, the spymaster's tone cautious. The defenses of Uthwan are considerable, even with the Asur embattled by demons. We must consider lines of supply and retreat. Malice could almost feel sorry for the spymaster when Malekith rounded on him and fixed him with his fiery gaze. There will be no retreat, he declared. Naggaroth will die along with all who remain behind. He turned, letting his gaze linger on each of the dreadlords. Any who try to return will die too. Do not mistake necessity for hubris. We must retake Uthwan or perish in the Rana Dandra. Victory or death, these are the only choices left to the Druki. Alright, I'm going to stop there. Yeah, very interesting turn of events there. Malekith heading for the deciding to head for the island of Uthwan during the end times, which I think is a sound plan. I don't know. I mean, if your enemies are embattled and you've got a land not worth fighting for, I mean, why not rally your forces and head towards the greener pastures, so to speak. Alrighty, yeah, it's moving in the right direction. Anyway,
You may approach. Making headway.
How we doing over here? Alright, we've got it
I
in
serve
the
the Phoenix
positive
King.
now.
A promising lieutenant.
What are we gonna do for you, my dear?
We are ill at ease.
Lawmaster of Hoeth. Onward then. Knowledge awaits.
Sorcery. Moving. You have
Get all
use of
these
my
guys
power.
landed over here
Chosen of Hoeth. Speak your peace.
and just see if we can
What do you seek?
manage the
Sailing.
public order a little bit better. Yeah, see, we've got it plus
I
13 now
cannot
already.
obey.
And we've got a couple more to make landfall.
Servant of the tower.
So, I mean, that's good. Looks like should help things considerably down here. I think probably that's where we'll send her. We'll send Freya down to the Ice Drake Fjord. And you can just stay and replenish for now, I guess. Same thing with you. Just replenish for a little while. You're fully replenished. Oh, cool.
No.
Want to be careful he doesn't get behind our lines here too.
Can I offer
I
assistance?
think we just maybe start to shadow him with this army.
At your service.
Cease.
Princess.
Just put you on the force
We march
march.
on.
Just keep
We
an eye
march.
on old Siegfeld. Alright, so who do we got here? We got the Sun Eater down here. So that's army number 2.
Standing by. Ali. For honor.
Anybody in the mountains here?
Noble.
Want
Forward.
you to get
at
over
once.
here. So if we can
For honor.
see what's going on.
Ali. Stopping. For the moment.
Yeah, Chaos definitely went through here. Is it just Kolek? Surely they can't be down to just the 2 stacks. I don't know.
Ready for orders.
Let's pop you in there.
A darkness is spreading.
Again, I'm gonna risk going for growth here, simply because we've got Tyrion and also this guy nearby.
I await
If
your
it does
command.
rebel, but I'll risk
I know the way.
the growth to get these slots open sooner, and then we'll do the public order buildings next. Did we get a rebellion up here? Oh yeah, we did.
The Assa of trouble.
Alright, what size is it? Definitely get that going. Might as well build some of this up as well.
Princess of the Asur.
Hmm.
We shall not rest.
Let's force march you. Take some attrition.
You're a pretender.
But you'll be fine. Don't think this army is a real
Asur
threat to
princess.
her. And
You seek illumination.
what province are you in right now?
Truth seeker.
Alright, yeah,
Ever
keep
on.
moving. Might have to keep you around this area for the time being. How long do we have before this?
We are ill at
Alright, we've got a little bit of time there before it rebels. Let's actually double check the... Alright, so it's improving there, improving there. Here, this should be under control soonish. A bit of a problem there. Lyonese. A little bit of a problem. We can always turn the taxes off here. I'll leave it for now, and probably at some point we'll just have to throw a general in there to get it under control. Alright, Naggarond. Can't build that to level. Let's go with that. And that. And this. Yeah, well, we'll probably build a shrine to Assyrian here as well. But not quite yet. And income, I think. Alrighty. I mean, our income's still going up despite the continual recruitment. Definitely need the shrine to Assyrian here, but we can't quite afford it just yet. Alright.
Your instructions.
You, sir, keep on moving. See if you can get caught up to these armies linked together. These guys are just gonna sit here. Alright, that's fine. Let's get some replenishment in the meantime.
Brave son
And
of
we
Ulfwan.
might as well gather up some influence for us while we're camped out here. And between these two armies, we'll be able to take this on. Though we don't have the bloody siege
Their
equipment yet.
skill is legend.
Let's do specialists for you, sir. And then this area is probably Skaven as well. Yeah, I don't know where the other Chaos armies are. It's a little bit of a mystery. Got Cawkwell and Sigfeld. Is that all that's left of them? Surely. There's another one down here somewhere. I don't know.
Protector of the Everqueen. Tyrion.
Does he, when you colonize with single entities, I guess they don't take attrition. That's I guess that kind of makes sense. I guess. I don't know. Oh wait, level up.
Mighty warrior.
This will make you immortal. Why not?
The
Congratulations.
winds are rising.
Lawmaster of Hearth.
Stay put. Spacia.
Mage of the White Tower.
Guys are staying put. What? I think we definitely go on tainted here.
Of Ulfwan. Spellcrafter. Assyrian servant.
Alright, at the end turn. See what happens.
You have use of my power.
Alright, forgot to move those guys. Alright, let's see what Malekith and the Dreadlords decide what they're gonna do. So the Dreadlords sat in shocked silence, their outrage and resentment cowed by the mad passion of their king. Malus could guess their thoughts, for he doubted they were much different to his own. He had struggled hard to become a Dracu of Hogwraith. His rise had been bought with blood, far too much of it his own. Now, at the pinnacle of power, when he was the second most powerful elf in Naggaroth, it was all being cast aside, thrown away because their king believed the end times were upon them. He was reminded of a warning Lady Eldire had given him once about prophecy. Those who thought to see the future often brought it into being. Malekith believed the Ranadandra was upon them, and now he was doing his utmost to ensure just such an apocalypse, doomed to both Naggaroth and Uthwan. Malekith knew his people well. In his heart of hearts, every Druki coveted the lands of his forefathers. Naggaroth was a harsh, unforgiving desolation, a land of exile, not a land of glory. Nothing could change the brutal fact, not even the circlet of iron. Even if he wanted to, Malus knew it would be impossible to hold Hag Griff on his own. Looking about the other dreadlords, he knew they would have reached the same conclusion. Their lands were forfeit. By royal decree, they would follow the Witch King in one final assault against Uthwan, spending the last strength of the Druki. Either they would win new lands, or they would give their lives in a final act of vengeance. Whichever doom was to be theirs, it was an ending that found harmony in the spiteful soul of every Druki. The host of Hag Griff would follow Malekith in this final war against the Asur. Malus would strip his city of every warrior, leaving only the old and sick behind. He would muster the greatest warhouse among all the Druki, and, when battle was joined, the glory of victory would be his. The Witch King was selfish enough to believe this would be his war, but in any war, fortune was a fickle mistress. If Malekith showed any weakness, Malus would be there to seize upon it. Conquest or extinction, the Witch King decreed. Naggaroth will never recover. Will the Druki say to slowly dwindle and die, cowering behind our walls? No, we are scions of Naggarite, the people of Anarion. We will reclaim what is our birthright, or die. Malekith strode back to his throne as the assembled nobles cheered and shouted, each more eager to show his loyalty and support for the king than the elf beside him. Much of it was political theater, but Malus could see that there were a few who seemed genuinely enthusiastic about the campaign ahead. The Witch King motioned his dreadlords to silence. Before you depart the Black Tower, before you return to your cities to gather your warriors, a demonstration, a reminder of what must befall all who betray their king. Carefully, Malus reached for the dagger hidden in the lining of his cloak. He froze as he saw Curran rise to his feet. The captain wasn't interested in the Dracu, however. Instead, marching towards the Iron Throne to stand beside his master, any relief Malus might have felt vanished in the next instant. Emerging from the shadowy recesses of the chamber were the torturers. No, we're not going to take that. Were the torturers who had so lately entertained him in the Black Tower's dungeons. One of the elves before him, an ebony reliquary which held the grisly tools of the trade. Malus kept his hand around the dagger, every nerve on edge as he waited for some hidden foe to fall upon him. Was this why Malekith had freed him? Simply to make an example of him before the whole Black Council? Watching Curran approach the king gave him another idea. Perhaps it wasn't Malus the tyrant wanted to make an example of. Maybe it was Drusilla who was the focus of the king's wrath. Making an example of her might silence some of those who thought him weak for not executing Marathi. Curran stood before the throne, the torturers flanking him at either side. The captain turned towards Drusilla. Then, in a sudden whirl, he fell upon Isrezer. The spymaster was caught utterly by surprise. The blade he'd hidden in the sleeve of his robe pinned against his wrist as Curran restrained him. Isrezer was forced to his feet as the captain bent his other arm behind his back and pulled. Malekith told the struggling elf. His iron hand gripped Isrezer's gaunt face, forcing his mouth open. You were the eyes and ears of the Black Tower, the king snarled. But what good are eyes and ears when the tongue will not relate what has been seen and heard. The Witch King's iron talons reached inside his reservoir mouth. A gargled cry escaped the spymaster as the tyrant ripped the tongue free. Malekith held the bloodied strip of flesh for all the Black Council to see. One of you bought his reservoir's tongue. Look well upon what you purchased. Dropping the gory talisman on the floor, the king withdrew from the chamber. Curran waved the torturers forward, supervising them as they helped lower the mutilated Ezrezer back into his chair. The elf bearing the reliquary opened the wooden box, disclosing an assortment of clawed mallets and long iron nails. While half the torturers held Ezrezer in place, the others began nailing him into the seat. When Malekith's armada sailed from Naggaroth, it would do so without the spymaster. He'd been condemned to remain behind and watch over the abandoned riches of Naggarond. Malus shook his head. He'd suspected something untoward with Ezrezer when the Druki had removed the bit from his mouth from down in the dungeon. The spymaster had given Malus the chance to cheat Malekith by killing himself before any torture began. There was only one reason for extending such a mercy, as Ezrezer had been afraid of what Malus might say. Pride had kept Darkblade from taking such a cowardly choice. Now he rather suspected, as Ezrezer regretted the transparency of such a mistake. He'd aroused Malekith's suspicions. Whether Ezrezer was a part of Khaire's conspiracy or simply seeking to exploit it towards his own ends, the Witch King had paid him in full for his intrigues. As he watched the torturers nailing the elf to his chair, Malus glanced across at Lady Caria. Perhaps he'd been wrong. Maybe she hadn't been leaning away from Ebner towards Ezrezer. If so, with such a graphic display, Malekith had made the idea that the Dracu had betrayed the conspiracy doubly convincing. Malus knew Khaire wouldn't dare to act until the host of Hag Griff was embarked and on its way to Uthwan. There was too much resting on the invasion to risk any delay in mustering the armies and setting sail, but after that, Malus would have good cause to worry. His army might see the shores of Uthwan, but would he be there to lead it? Alright. Here we go. That's the end of chapter 3. Made it through it. How are we doing for time? Alright, we got 20 minutes still. We got still quite a bit of time here to push through some more of this campaign. Try and pick up the pace for you guys a little bit. Let's see if we can hopefully finish this off sometime soonish. How is this recruitment? Yeah, even though we're recruiting, the income is still going up because we're getting some good building. We're expanding, albeit relatively slowly. These guys are going to be beat the hell by the time they get over here to reinforce. Let's keep scooping up some of this influence. Good job, my man. Good job. Keep leveling up and keep reducing the cost here. I think that should give us enough to actually do the intrigue here. Who are they at war with? The New World colonies, right? Let's improve the relations. Diverting an enemy into the ambush range of Philip Billings of New World colonies is the first part of the ploy. Letting them keep the gold we planted on the convoy will lead them to a more favorable relationship with Thorgrim, Grudgebearer of Dwarves, whose sigil is stamped into the horde. Alright, good. Yeah, as soon as they have peace together, we'll be able to align ourselves with the dwarves. Let's hit this bad boy and get some more influence coming in per turn.
Can I offer assistance?
Man, we covered a lot of ground there. Surrounded by enemies, though. Guess we'll come this way.
Assyrian guides us.
Just continue to shadow the fold. War herd of chaos. What kind of shape are you in? I think we'll just stay here, even though, I mean, doesn't really provide us with let's go with the public order building. Doesn't really provide us with extra defenses, though I guess we do have the garrison here. And the Altdorf should be fine on its own against this. Yeah, I would think so. They don't have quite enough movement to get there anyway. Plus, we've got these guys sitting there as well. Alright, so that's still just Khaine.
Their skill is legend.
So we'll give you that. Whatever. Still no sign of
Speak your mind.
Archeon. I don't know, I feel like it's just those two Chaos armies that are left. I mean,
I cannot.
I don't know.
Valiant.
Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Huh.
I will not.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, guess we can move to finish them off. It just... I was under the impression that if they dropped below that, let's go with growth here. If they dropped below 4 armies, 4 stacks, that they would it would spawn another wave, another chaos wave.
Tyrion, heir of an Aryan.
Corruption's bad here. We'll let Tyrion sit here for a turn or two.
Our people are being tainted.
Seeing as there doesn't seem to be any sign of bloody well Archeon. Get you out of force march.
If you will it.
Denied.
Protector of Ultron.
Might have to fight this. I mean, I might fight this anyway, just because it's extremely unlikely that we'll get another fight in. Plus, the odds, for whatever reason, are pretty even. I guess it's because our army's not in perfect condition. Though I mean, the damage is pretty minimal, and they've got a lot of garbage in this army. So I don't know. And we've got pretty elite troops here. These Sisters of Avalorn and these Sword Masters, going to cut them up pretty good. Ivar Shieldbiter. It's quite the name. Guess we know what he does in his spare time. I think that's plenty of Winds of Magic. I'm gonna set up over here on the angle. Force them to sort of swing around at us. Sword Masters, go in front. Guys can line up in behind. You, sir, can stand out. Ooh, actually, stand over here because I want to get you guys healed a little bit.
Eagle Claw. Orders received. For duty.
Join that mode.
Ready. My power is yours.
Swordmaster of Hoeth.
Princess of Alquan.
Alright, looks good. Start it up.
Swordmaster of
Just gonna
Hoeth.
stretch you guys out a little bit more.
Asa, move.
Probably should let this build up a little bit, but I'd rather get these guys healed right away.
Following Ethua.
Stretch you guys out a bit too.
I go then.
Oh yeah, let the fireworks begin. What are you guys doing with your horsemen? Nothing?
Understood. It will be done. March.
Might lock these guys and just send them for a I want to get one more heal on him. Over here, this could be a bit of a problem.
Yes.
Let's turn around and get ready to shoot them. Alright, you sir, I want you to come over this way.
Giran protects me. As you say.
Okay, let's
Understood. As you say.
get you guys moving forward.
Steel. Orders received. For duty. Swiftly.
My power is yours. To battle. Harathoi. Understood. At once.
Get in there.
Without fail.
Defender
Actually,
of Alquan.
hit them. I don't want you guys, the archers, taking damage. Yeah. Like I said, we're, facing a whole lot of garbage here.
Yes.
And we have pretty awesome units.
We will
So,
obey.
To the fray.
Acknowledged.
Orders received. Attack. Swordmaster
don't
of
run
Hoeth.
after them.
Lawmaster of Hoeth.
Heal on this guy.
Sithon Seal Kadane.
Asa move.
There we go. That was tough.
Eagle claw.
Awaiting orders.
Acknowledged.
A little bit of damage there.
We go.
Anyway, gonna end the battle. I guess we didn't really need to save that one. It's not really much point. Ivor Shieldbiter. Fortunately, these guys aren't completely destroyed. We're gonna have to run them down, which is kind of a pain in the ass. That is, if we can get through the load screen. Damn it to hell, I really need to upgrade my CPU, and I really need to get a solid state drive to get through these end turns a lot quicker. Or, not end turns, but the load screens. This is ridiculous. I guess we could be reading from the book while we go through this. Managed to lose 43. Come on, you can do it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it was a waste of time coming up here for these Norskin provinces, because they're not really worth a lot, and I mean, in order to keep the public order under control, you really got to dedicate a lot of resources up here. Take the cash, I guess.
Glory to the Khaine!
That will incur my wrath.
Princess of the Asur.
Alright, I'm just gonna take a look around the map and might... fuck it. I was gonna say I might end the episode on the autosave here, finishing him off, but should be able to get through another end turn. Took quite a bit of damage there in the auto resolve, but whatever. Pop you into Varg camp, get some replenishment, and boost up the public order. So that should get things under control there for now.
Lawmaster of Hoeth.
Keep moving you around this way.
Truth.
Guess it doesn't really matter too much which one of those. If we move you out of the settlement, what kind of difference does that make? If we move you out of the province, it goes to -2.
Orders.
Public orders -11 there. Let's keep you here for one more turn at least.
Servant of the tower.
Just wondering if we should bring you guys this way, I guess.
You have use of my power.
Warden of Sapphire.
The Athua answers to me.
And then that way I can send you this way or this way, wherever you're potentially needed,
You seek
I
illumination.
guess.
Lawmaster of Hoeth.
Servant of the tower.
There we go, +22. Get a nice boost there. Got one more guy to make landfall as well. Maybe we should bring him around this way.
Destiny awaits. Truth seeker.
I don't know why you didn't just come straight through here. I guess the high seas are harder to go through.
Can I offer
Maybe?
assistance?
I don't know. Probably gonna keep you there for now. And
Corruption
I think
is
it's
rife.
probably a good idea to keep Tyrion there.
Guardian of the Phoenix Crown. Guardian of the Phoenix Crown.
What do you require?
So have you actually come
Marching
to
out,
this
entering the
location?
garrison.
Don't think we'll need to backtrack with him, even though public order is kind of bad there, but we've got the other army freed up now. Sort of, anyway. I mean, Marielle is going to be coming around this way. I think, yeah.
Your command.
Alrighty. Where the blazes is chaos. I don't know, I'm starting to think that it's just the two armies.
Standing by.
It's certainly what it
I
seems like.
simply cannot. I will move momentarily.
We've searched all of this area, and we haven't seen anyone else.
Forward at once.
I think it's just Kowalek and
Asinine
And Sigfold.
I serve the Phoenix King. Ulfuan Princess.
Get you to catch up.
Let us rest
So I think I'll just work on finishing them off for good.
Lethal
Okay, we
grace
already
if
moved you
fall.
guys.
Can I offer assistance?
Born to
We moved these two?
Servant of
Yeah,
the
I guess
tower.
so. Guess we've moved everyone. Can do some building though. Let's take a look at these provinces first. Alright, so things are going good there. Things are not great here, but we're gonna get that under control soon. Public order is on the rise there. Lyonese is a problem, but slowly coming under control. We can get rid of that corruption, we'll actually have it under control. Here, let's tax it again. Let's tax this province too. Here it's balanced, that's awesome. Here it's a bit of a problem, but manageable. Also manageable. We'll have it under control here pretty soon, I think. Paravon, let's build this. Defenses are not critical at the moment. Down here, this will be fine. I think so, anyway. Alright, looks good. Ooh, up here, it's gonna be a bit of a problem, but again, we should be able to get that under control. Anyway, where can we do some building? Did say, yeah, let's go with the Shrine to Assyrian here. And that's pretty much all our income for the turn. Does not take very long to spend 30,000 in this game. Did say we wanted the shrine here, right? Yeah, might as well. And maybe we'll do the Sisters of Avalon just to get a little bonus to the Untainted.
What do you seek?
What do you require? You have use of my power.
Ooh, yes, research available. Ah, we haven't built the building yet, that's why. Makes sense. Just stick with these quicker ones. We might as well finish this before we start that, but
I hear the Gaddafi. You
that
summon
10% bonus
my
to trade
powers
though
are
will
yours to command.
should actually be a decent boon to our income. Alright, chapter 4. So Malice watched as the towering spires of Hag-Grief receded into the distance. The great black ark, eternal malediction, was bearing the bulk of his forces out into the Gulf of Naggarond. There, they would join the rest of Malekith's armada before voyaging into the Sea of Malice. Hag-Grief, how long and hard had he struggled to seize her crown. He'd fought against monsters and daemons, endured exile in the barbarous lands of humans and the deadly wastes of chaos itself. He defeated the dread armies of Nagor on the battlefield and enslaved the Naggarites. The blood of brother and sister alike stained his hands. The life of his father had dripped down his sword. He had fortified his soul to Dizarkin and dared the forbidden world of the screaming god-child. Nothing and no one had been beyond the reach of his lust for ultimate power. Hag-Grief, the second city of Naggaroth, he had been its despotic master. Now he watched as his kingdom faded away into the distance. Malice felt no regret at abandoning the city. The Witch King was right when he said that no Druchii loved the chill wastes of Naggaroth. In their hearts burned the urge to reclaim the land to which they truly belonged, not the desolation of mocking exile. Haggrave was a prison, a refuge, nothing more. It was in Uthwan that true power and glory lay, a realm worth ruling. The siren call of such a promise had fired the pride of Malice and every dreadlord in the land. Only the crazed inhabitants of Harganeth had refused Malekith's call, content to remain in their city, glutting their insatiable appetite for murder on the beasts and barbarians besieging their lands. Crone Hellebron and the cult of Khaine had whipped up the people of Harganeth into a frenzy of bloodlust worthy of their ghastly city. It was as well for the Druchii that Malekith had abandoned them to their madness. The scenes Malice had left behind in Haggrave were little better. Only the strong and useful had been taken abroad, the eternal malediction, and the other ships of the fleet. The rest of the city's population had been left to their fate, consigned to whatever horrible doom the creatures of the wastes would bring to them once their hordes reached the dark crag. As his army withdrew from the city, the terror and turmoil boiling up around him had been thrilling to the Druchii's black heart. He'd watched with amusement as corrupt old merchants and courtiers had tried in vain to bribe their way into the army, as though their wealth could make any warrior exchange the promise of glory in battle for the miserable end awaiting the city. He'd seen flesh traders auctioning off exotic slaves for almost nothing, seen those same slaves butchered on the spot by buyers interested only in indulging their jaded thirst for slaughter. He'd watched noble towers looted and burned, seen the mortuary vaults smashed open and the bones of ancient rivals ground in the streets under the vengeful boots of drunken wastrels. Some of the temples had been thrown open, their priests murdered by mobs of disillusioned elves, venting their feelings of divine betrayal against those who served the gods. Other temples, like that of bloody-handed Khaine himself, became centers of crazed worship and devotion, zealots dragging screaming sacrifices to the gore-soaked altars, as though in his last hour their religious frenzy might yet move their god to protect them. As chaotic as the rioting and unrest in the streets was, Malice knew things were far worse in the mines below. In stripping Haggref of every able-bodied warrior, Malice had dispatched Cúnar Canoa's son to gather the overseers and slave masters in the pits below the city. He would need such experienced taskmasters to drive the captive Naggarites into battle. Leaving them behind to administer the vast numbers of human, dwarf, and greenskin slaves under Haggref would simply be wasteful. There hadn't been time to massacre the slaves. Cúnar simply withdrew the guards and locked the gates, even as he was arranging the destruction of his own wine cellars so that no looter would profit off what was forced to leave behind. Word reached Malice that the mine slaves were in revolt. Panicked by their abandonment, and the terrified throng was battering down the gates that combined them. It would only be a matter of hours before the horde won their way clear of the tunnels and spilled out into the streets. Malice was irate he couldn't stay to watch that. It would have been amusing to behold the raged hosts of starving dogs tear their way through the decadent Druchii he'd been deemed unfit to fight against the Asur. He was certain the carnage would be unprecedented in the history of the Hag, a final atrocity of epic scope before the foul city was blotted out. Do you mourn your kingdom, my lord? Malice turned as he felt the soft touch of Vincinarix's hand against his forearm. He'd heard the knight's approach, of course. She was one of the few he trusted enough to get so near him. It wasn't that she was beyond treachery, after all. She'd conspired with him to murder her own father. But the simple fact that she owed her position to him. Without his patronage, her own warriors would soon dispose of her. She was well aware of that. Malice wondered if that dependency added an extra note of urgency to her passion when they were alone. Certainly, she'd proven to be the most delicious companion to share his bed in a long time. The Dracu rolled across the silk sheets and slid his hand down his lover's tender throat. The black arcs were floating cities in their own right, and the master of the eternal malediction had turned the tallest of its spires over to his fearsome passenger. The sprawling bedchamber Malus had taken for his own was very near the summit of that tower, with great windows set into 3 of its 4 walls. The resulting view was astonishing, making him feel almost as though he soared among the clouds rather than sailed upon the sea. It was easy to understand how the masters of the Black Arcs could develop such a lordly opinion of themselves, feeling unbound by the very laws of nature. How could they respect the rules of kings and tyrants? Malus considered that it was a good thing his warriors outnumbered the Black Arc's corsairs by several orders of magnitude. It might remind them who exactly was in charge. Lifting one finger, Malus stroked the knight's chin. There was just the hint of a scar there, the unhealed residue of a manticore's sting. She had far worse scars elsewhere. It had cost Vincinerax much pain to impress her father, to rise through the ranks of her siblings. In some ways, her ruthless jockeying for position paralleled his own, though of course his own ambitions had been much grander in scale, and he, at least, had needed no help to kill his own father. Alright, cool. Yeah, so we are over the hour mark, which means I am gonna call it a day here, guys. Things are looking pretty good, pretty quiet and pretty calm. Just waiting on the dwarves to get peace with the New World colonies, and then we can align with them. And we just need to populate the rest of this terrain, finish off the Chaos Forces, and we're done. So it's only going to be a handful of episodes left, I think, guys. Probably 4 or 5 episodes. Hopefully, anyway. Doesn't drag on for longer than that. And should soon be in a position. Oh, we should actually be able to strike this now that these guys... Is that the army that was in there? There were 2 armies. Maybe the other army was destroyed. I mean, holy smokes, the dwarfs are like bloody well ants in this campaign. Look at all the fucking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No wonder the strength ranking is what it is. I swear there's some dwarf armies around here too, in the north. Got at least 10 armies that I can see. I don't know if I counted this one. I think that's the 11th though. Anyway, whatever. We still got work to do. Not a lot, but definitely still work to do. I think war with the dwarfs, I mean, we could definitely defeat the dwarves, but it would drag things on for a while, that's for sure. Anyway, we'll continue struggling through this Norskin territory and just see if we can catch up to these Chaos Forces and finish them off once and for all. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. This is Ragnarok signing out.